The boy, Lester Gayle, the blogging guy. I'll be doing a live interview this Sunday, February 21st, on the Silburn Sidal TV show. Live on Facebook, live on Instagram. Join me alongside super producer Richard Shams Brownie, manager, producer of TOK, and many other big rhythms. We'll be talking about the aspects of dancehall, the good and the bad. Join us live Sunday, 21st of February, 9 p.m. UK time, 10 p.m. Holland time, 4 p.m. Jamaica time, 4 p.m. New York time. Join us. Remember, Sunday, February 21st on the Sidal TV show. Silburn Sidal TV show. Boom!
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a wonderful Sunday evening. And for those who are on Instagram, I want to welcome you. Those on Facebook and those on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. And tonight is Sunday night. Tonight is the night whereby I tend to always travel to Jamaica. And, you know, lockdown can't stop us, you know what I'm saying? So as you can see, I even got my Jamaica, where is it? My Jamaica emblem there. I think I got it from some politicians in Jamaica, actually, and trying to keep that link, you know. We are in the throes of Reggae Month. Reggae Month is this month, February 2021. And I was trying to get some other persons from Jamaica in regards involved with the Reggae Month, but I couldn't get the top officials. But I say I don't believe in holding back. So what I say, let me just go straight to the horse's mouth and just go for the original Jamaican, them live on direct, straight on the ground. And I'm saying, as I'm a original Ochiman. So the topic tonight is, as you can see, and as I've advertised, is about the positives and negative of dancehall music. Now, at the same time, why I brought that subject up, it is not as if to say that it is something new or something fresh, or it is something which has been going on for years, but it's more like to look at it, is it a myth? Is it an ideology or so? Because as far as I'm concerned, dancehall is somewhat as embryonic part of Jamaica. It's one of the key element of Jamaica, because I was looking at something here and it talks about reggae music. Dancehall has been a musical movement from the depths of the lower socioeconomic class in Jamaica, enabling them to express themselves, telling their own stories. Majority of Jamaicans live in the struggle from which dancehall was created, and it's important that they can relate to it. And similar, if I used to be in hip hop, rapping, and rapping is of that similar nature, whereby it's hip hop is about telling the culture. But you know, without further ado, I've got two guests tonight, Richard Shams and also Lester Gayle. I'm just going to bring them straight and just get straight to the whole jam session. Okay, let me see if I can. Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
That sound like you know, that song, I feel good. I know it's Sunday at church with it. You know, I feel good, wonderful, good. I mean, but come to think about it, I grew up in Ocherios, yeah, and I used to go to York Castle High School, and I used to disco wheels, Robbie Bus, and we used to listen to these dancehall. And when you're in dancehall, and some of the sessions, then it was Tiki and Wolfman, the man was around that time, I think, and Josie Whale, the co-ruler, the Colonel. You guys,
the Colonel.
Well, Joe Beanie Man was around, but he was about 5'7" them time, because he did his first album at age 7, I think, you know. But he wasn't a big star.
Yes. But them used to sing gospel songs in it.
Yeah.
In their DJing. Like I feel good and stuff like that. So that was a part of my heritage. And as a man from Ocherios, Jack Ruby was my one music avenue.
Yeah.
My first music that I got on a tape, the normal tape, was from Fat Jar. You know Fat Jar Operator? You guys must know Fat Jar Operator. Black guys, Shams, you don't know who's Fat Jar?
No.
Oh, let's say you don't know Fat Jar.
No, remember, I know. We're Kingston based.
Listen, man. Oh my goodness. Fat Jar Operator was a guy for Jack Ruby. He's a selector. Okay, wait. I thought you guys were going to educate me about dancehall. Look like you turned it the other way around. But listen, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I've got Shams here. Richard Shams, and I'll let him sort of explain who he's a bit more, because the brief that I know is he's a former manager of TOK, owns and operates Call Me Shams record and Be Rich record label, hit rhythms as Baddies, Orgasm, Lester Gayle, artist manager, record producer, work with Tanya Stevens, Vibes Cartel, Hush, Dancehall, Duo, RDX, Peter Lloyd, Group 1/3. But first of all, Richard, tell me your journey into dancehall or Shams.
My journey, we don't have that time then.
Now listen, when I'm on a DJ, if I bring in something in 1 minute, you know what I mean? I'll say forward. We can get less of it, say forward, and we'll come again when you're gone too far.
Well, you said journey, but you don't know. I have to first. Okay. Thanks for having me on the show, and I appreciate it.
Yes.
First, I'd have to say, I forget the people in the history of, the family name and stuff. So my name is Richard Shams Browne. Yes. Browne being the name of, a very prominent family in music, in the Jamaican, music industry. So you said, tell you the journey, I have to tell you where it started from, which is, my dad, Glenn Browne, he's the eldest of 5 brothers. So Glenn Browne currently plays bass for Taurus Riley. And he used to play for Jimmy Cliff and Ziggy Marley and Luciano. So, I'm talking about from the 80s, Jimmy Cliff band and stuff. So that's my dad. Following him in the family now, second brother was Dalton Browne, which he passed recently. Dalton was the MD for Freddie McGregor for years, big shit, Freddie McGregor. Following Uncle Dalton would have been his Uncle Noel, which Uncle Noel also, he was a part of Castro Brown Studio, New Name Music, and he also worked with Big Ship, Freddie McGregor. Then following Noel Browne now is Clevie Browne, which is a part of the dancehall. They were Steely and Clevie. So, and also Clevie played drums for Freddie McGregor for a couple of years as well.
Yes.
But Clevie is more known for Steely and Clevie and the work that they have over the years in dancehall for Jammies and Bobby Digital and other producers and Studio 2000, which is their own label. And then now the wash belly, as we like to call it, number 5, Danny Browne, Uncle Danny, which is Main Street Crew, Red Rat Degree, Buccaneer, Goofy, all Main Street thing. And plus Danny was the MD and member of Bloodfire Posse in the 80s, and Bloodfire did relatively well in the UK and Europe. So my journey started now being a part of the Browne family, and I have to mention this also. I have a twin brother, so people might see me and think it's him, or I think it's him and it's me. So my journey started out from just growing up seeing the Browne Bunch, because they had a band together.
Yes.
Growing up seeing the 5 brothers, Browne Bunch together playing music. That's where my journey actually began in music overall. Where it come on to dancehall now. Pretty much after leaving high school in 1993, Main Street Studio had just done. Uncle Danny did just finish build the studio in 93. And that is where now I got interested in actually being a producer and engineer, audio engineer, because, Danny was like the youngest one of the 5. So
he
was like the coolest one to me, so I looked up to him, and he's like my mentor, and I learned a lot from him, production wise and be, just having that whole crew, the studio vibes and all of that. So leaving school during exam time, this is 1993 when I was sitting my CXCs, I used to leave school and go directly to studio and just go hang out and catch in the vibes. So yeah, so in a nutshell, that is where my journey in dancehall started.
So simply put, your neighbor's string is cut in dancehall music then, if anything.
That's right.
Yeah.
And music in general, yeah.
Yeah. A question I'll bring to you, but I'll ask Lester to introduce himself. And Lester Gayle, which I call Lester, I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Lester is the one that keeps me abreast with what's happening in Jamaica. And the funny thing about it, ladies and gentlemen, is that Lester is not in Jamaica. So I don't know how that happened. But Lester, you can go on. Tell me how that happened.
Well, good night to everybody. Good night, Shams and Richard Shams Brownie, one of my good friend them. Thanks for having us on. Although I'm a regular staple on the program.
Yeah.
But I'm Lester Gayle. Them call me Gaza. My introduction to music or dancehall music was different. I grew up in a household that my father had the turntable, and he used to play Jim Reeves, and he used to play all different type of American or UK type music, and reggae music also, Bob Marley and Tinker and all that stuff. But also we the younger part of the family, the kids them now, I used to go to the record shops with my bigger brother and buy the LP and 45 too.
Yes.
So when we hear the Stagalak rhythm and what Jam is reading them again, Shams?
Which one? Sling Ting?
Sling Ting.
Yes.
Sling Ting just mash up my head.
Yes.
And so we're like, whoa. So this more have a groove for the younger people. So that's how I started out in dancehall per se, to say I used to go to record shops, on Orange Street and Half a Tree, all over Spanish Town, and buy records, go home, play them and stuff like that. But you have to be careful, because if you broke your father an eagle, right, you know, problem. And what happened now, further on in life now, going to school and stuff like that, I went into theater. And I used to have concerts and stuff like that. And we used to turn R&B and hip hop songs into reggae songs. So
yes.
we will DJ a hip hop or R&B song, like the Mariah Carey. You want this Mariah Carey song. So we DJ the Mariah Carey song on a dancehall rhythm. My younger brother, he's a singer. Shams know him. Shams had produced songs with him also. He was in a group called Hush. Yes. So they wanted me to manage the group. But when I went to look at the group, it was like 19 members. So when he didn't tell me that at the first, he told me say it was a group. So we think it was 4 or 3, so I had to cut down the group to the best 4. Why 4? Because TOK was 4. Right? Shams know that too. Right? No. So and then the members of the group look like members of TOK also. Right, in terms of body size, structure, the base, everything. So I was forming the group base of TOK, right? And at that time, I never know Shams. So this is like 98, 99. And then the first studio that I went to was studio downtown, Lego studio downtown. That's where all of the greats them used to go. Bounty Killer record one of his first songs at that studio also. And then we went to Anchor Records on Winard Road. From there, my journey went skywards when I met Dean Fraser in 1998, 2 weeks before the World Cup competition. Dean Fraser and Pam Hall came to my church to sing, and the Reggae Boys came to my church for a blessing to go after the World Cup. So I met Dean Fraser there, and he gave me his number, and the rest is history. He introduced me to the business. Fully, he taught me the business. He introduced me to Sly and Robbie, and Sly and Robbie them teach me a whole lot of stuff. Link up with Shams. Shams teach me the other part of the business in terms of management and stuff like that. So that, in a nutshell, that's how I got into dancehall.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I guess me being involved with dancehall, I've got to say then is being to the fact that me's the original Ochi man, straight out of Ochi, One Music Avenue. I can say that because I live close there, Jack Ruby Hi-Fi, But I grew up, I believe I would say that on reggae music to high school, even though I was more into hip hop and rapping. That was what I used to do, and break dancing. I think it was strange. I think it's when I came to the UK, I started to appreciate reggae music much, much more. than when I was in Jamaica. I was more into hip hop and rap. But without a doubt, you know, growing up in Jamaica and Ultras with dancehall and with Jack Ruby Hi-Fi, that was very crucial. But the topic of tonight, guys, is, and as Lester and I was speaking about, because at different times you'll hear government ministers, you hear different persons talk about the negative impact of reggae music, or rather dancehall, because we need to sort of distinguish between reggae and dancehall, isn't it? We want to distinguish between reggae and dancehall, because you've got the Bob Marley and you've got the what should I say, the Josie Whale, or even Josie Whale. I mean, I like Josie Whale so much. I don't see Josie Whale doing any slackness, you know. I mean, it's dancehall linked to slackness and culture music linked to reggae.
But all right, I don't know if Shams will agree with me, but the form of music that we have is reggae. So dancehall is not really a specific genre per se, you know. But so dancehall would be like a younger version of reggae based on how the chord structure is. So if you look at the musical journey in terms of the rhythm structure coming from 79, 80,
yes,
it's like the speeding up of reggae rhythm, like, you know.
Yes.
So if you look at 80s, 90s rhythm is a lot faster than the 80s dancehall rhythm. But like, for example, Junior Gang, Welcome to Jamrock,
yes,
right? It's a dancehall rhythm, the hardcore dancehall rhythm. All Junior Gang did was turn up the bass on it. But it don't sound like, if you put it to normal, it just sound like reggae, you know. So you can speed up the rhythm or slow it down, and you get a different groove, a different feel of it. But it's reggae music we really have. So but dancehall would be like what the young people interpretation of reggae then.
Okay, Sham, what's your take on that there?
In some aspects, I agree with Lester. However, I find dancehall music to be more of a subgenre of reggae. I mean, for us Jamaicans, everything that come out of Jamaica, people outside of Jamaica see it as reggae. They cannot differentiate. You're a reggae artist, you're from Jamaica, it's reggae music, right? I would say that dancehall though is more the pop side. I'm trying to find the best way to describe it. Because, all right, similarly to what Lester said just now, the evolution of we're coming from ska, even before ska was, never remember the name of the genre, but they slowed down ska pretty much and got reggae, right? And there's a toss-up between Bob Marley and Toots and Jimmy Cliff to say who actually coined reggae or even discovered reggae as we know it. You know, but ska was the thing at the time, and it evolved into reggae music. So dancehall is sped up because back then, even Yellow Man them and Josie them is dancehall them used to do, you know, pretty much, but was known as reggae because that was more a radical type. It wasn't as you mentioned, the more uplifting side or the political injustice side, like what Bob Marley them was singing. You know, so we more associate the political stuff and the cultural stuff with a Bob Marley type reggae based on the lyrics and stuff. And then the dancehall side, you know, it's basically just fun to make the people them feel good most of the time, because, you know, there's no rubber dub come in, and that's where dancehall start pretty much in terms of like I am getting married in them song. They're not reggae song them technically. You understand? And
technically
the whole era there of dancehall when the man them start what do I call it now? I would just say chant or DJ them, because it starts with Daddy Uri. In peace also. So him kind of start the whole chanting thing on the beats, and then people say, oh, me can, you know, DJ, because back then it would be cheering them, call it, or toasting.
Because if I stop it there, I'm a Rebel, which Daddy Uri that's Bob Marley's song, isn't it?
I'm not familiar with Uri's version, but yes, Bobby have a song named
Bob have a song, because and they give the people what the people are. I was walking and I was singing that, I was doing that same tune there. That is DJing, isn't it? Just like when them have play songs that dance and them grab for the mic, you know, Major Mac.
Right. So Sorry, so essentially the whole toasting, that's the phrase that they coined it at. Toasting is what evolved into DJing, because remember, you know, back then them used to just talk any little thing. How from the top to the very last drop and big up to people and this and that, and it was mostly even on the dub versions of records also, on the flip side of the record them. Which was
a bit of history now. Most sound system had one turntable at the time.
Yeah.
So when they must search for the other tune now, that's how the toasting come about. For not have like dead ear in the dancehall.
Okay.
So they start to talk over it. So what they do, they play the version, they flip the record, because most on the B side of the LP, the vinyl, you had the version from the A side, which is the song.
Yeah.
So you had the rhythm play. So the MC or the DJ used to just talk and toast and just to keep the crowd entertained and not have dead ear. So it's so the whole DJing from the rhythm started while they must search sometime now for the other song to put on the turntable.
Yes.
So that's how the whole thing evolved into like DJing now, and men who had wordsmith men who used to keep the crowd entertained and get forward. So them say, what? So them start with more and more and more. So that's how it became into even an art form.
Yeah.
But it used to be just talking, you know.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those coming on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, and please share the video as well. I'm with Richard Shams Brown, former manager of TOK, owns and operates Call Me Shams Record, and Lester Gayle, artist manager, record producer. We're talking about the positives and negatives of dancehall music, and what we were doing a while ago was just clearing out sort of distinction between reggae music and the so-called dancehall music. You see, one of the things, guys, I'm hearing a feedback. Is there feedback there? Is that me or you? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah. As I was saying, there is this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is that, let's say, are you getting a feedback or is me? Shams, no?
I'm hearing it, but
yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Well, the most important thing is that we can hear each other still. What I'll do, let me do something here in the meantime. 1 second. And that's all. Okay. Can we hear it still?
No.
1, 2. 1, 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hearing it. And let's say you're not having a feedback there on your side, no?
Not really, but your volume is low.
My volume is low. Let me see something. Yes, Asana said there's a feedback. There's a feedback there. Let me. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me, Shams? Shams, say something.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, it was from Leicester's side. Okay, we have dealt with that bit there. Leicester is going to come back. I think there was a glitch from Leicester's side there because you're not hearing it now, can you?
No.
Okay, Asana, can you hear it? No, she's not hearing it, and some more friends. Okay, let me just go straight into one. Let me see. Let me hear what she says. I can hear you clearly, but there is a feedback. Okay, let me see something here. Let me come back to Leicester. Leicester, live and direct.
Yeah, is it good now?
Yeah, it's good. It's gone. Oh, Leicester, she said you're gone. Or it's gone. No, Leicester is back. All right, no problem. I think sometimes we got these glitches there. Okay, let's deal with the whole issue of why we came on here now is, and I'm just going to read something here. The influence of dancehall music on teenagers has impacted their minds negatively. This contributes heavily to crime and violence, sexual behaviors, and causes a drastic increase in drug use among youth. This was a young person writing something. I myself have been scorned for listening to sick music, as some tend to describe it. Is that a perception of reggae music, dancehall music, or is it a myth? Is it something which was there and it is something not there now? What I understand from past, and we all know that dancehall music seemed to be one which was more for the downtown, and calypso carnival music is more for the uptown. But over the years, I believe that has changed now. But listening to what that comment which I just said a while ago, is dancehall music contributing to those things what it is said, or did it then, or what is it now? Anyone want to shoot off first?
Go Shams.
It's I find it weird that was written by a young individual, you know, because for me personally, my opinion on dancehall music, like any other genre, because they tend to blame music that is enjoyed by the minority, or not even the minority, but the lower class, for lack of a better phrase right now. They tend to blame music that, you know, certain kind of people love based on their opinion, or just people like segregation, put it that way. Right? And for me, dancehall is a reflection of what is happening, is not the source of the problem. In other words, you have a youth or a couple of youth grow up in the ghetto, because most artists we know come from the inner cities. So the youths grow up and they see certain things and live it. You understand? And then if their way of creating is writing about it and letting go, or you know, telling the world their story, or just even putting it in a way for it to be entertainment for others or whatever, but in some way they are venting or just getting it off of their chest or out of their spirit based on whatever creativity comes from within them, then I don't see anything wrong with it, because, you know, we're supposed to have the freedom of speech. So I strongly believe that you cannot blame the music for what is happening. Blame the parents. My thing is blame the parents, because that is parenting. Because all right, let me ask a question. What would you say? What kind of upbringing somebody like Stephen King would have had to write all of them gruesome horror books and that they do so many movies about? So why target a genre or a class of people just because of, you know, whatever self-expression they're doing?
Yeah.
My take on it is that it's similar to Shams, but let me use an analogy, right? Or a different example. If dancehall music, as that young person said, is a direct contributor to crime, let the person's actions lead them to commit crime based listen to the music, lead them to commit crimes. In the 70s in Jamaica, right, between 72 to 79, we had a very violent period in Jamaica. Yes. But the music at the time was not dancehall. Dancehall never invented until about 79, 80, right? So the dominant music was roots rock and lovers rock. So how comes lovers rock never take precedence to the people who were committing all these violent crimes at the time?
So what you're trying to say then, maybe the music has evolved over a period of time, whereby is it the lyrics at those time with root rock reggae music wasn't anything of any damaging. It was more cultural, wasn't it?
Yes, but the people were violent. We had a very violent 10 years in it, and these same people who were committing the violence were listening to roots rock reggae.
Politics.
Yeah, but they were listening to roots reggae. So I'm saying that why is it that the reggae, roots rock, lovers rock never have an impact, and that these people never would refrain from committing violence? They didn't. They still went out there and committed violence, right? And you see, a lot of people don't know the history and the genesis where a lot of things start. People blame Vibes Cartel or Beenie Man or Bounty Killer for certain things, right? All of these artists learn from the roots reggae artists. The beating of selectors, sound system selectors, the beating of radio people to play a song. Start with Bob Marley and the Wailers, right? Bob Marley and the Wailers and Walla Trenchtown went to RGR, walk up Beachwood Avenue, turn on Linda's Road, and then mash up the whole of the downstairs at RGR. Don top at the time, the manager is a British guy or Jamaican British white guy. He came downstairs and Bob Marley beat him up and broke him hand. Him and Skill Cole went back to the car and he tell him, look here, I'm going to sit down in my car half an hour, I'm going to wait for you until I start hearing some reggae music on the radio. And that's how reggae music started to play in Jamaica on free to air radio. But it never stopped there. Bob Marley went to other sound systems who was not playing reggae, and he beat them too. But nobody speaks about that. So this violence in the dancehall is not something new to 90s or 2000s artists. It is something that is a learned behavior.
So the question then, is it a myth then? Is it a myth? Is it a reality that reggae dancehall music contribute towards crime based on the lyrics?
I agree that it's a myth, and listen, crime and violence is stemmed from the I don't want to use the word oppression, but whatever the people, the lower class of people are, all right. If the country economics are if poor people them have a chance, them not have no reason to go rob or thief or commit any kind of crime. So if there is a system set in place that man can get good work and good pay and this and that and the cost of living, so bad for them or whatever, there will be no reason for them to be committing these violence acts. So I don't believe that it has anything at all to do with the music, because as I said before, the artists they are basically singing about what they grew up and say are a lot of them that still them are artists, but they still live in the inner cities. Them are get them ideas and stuff from what they're seeing around them, how police are running upon them and how the shatter them are deal with it. And because a lot of the slangs and stuff that we hear in dancehall music, upon the corner them thing that come from upon the ends. So and it's not like the man them the artists them are tell people to do these things. They're singing about stuff that they are seeing. Now when you see some youth just grow up, nice school youth, them go school. You really believe that these people would hear certain music on the radio and them say, yo, Cartel, some for bust it for him, some I go bust it for him, just like that for no reason at all, and have it in your heart already, like go through nothing, grow up come say police are kick off your door or demand them from over that side to come kick off your door and kill your brother and all these things. Grow up comes to that. So how can the music have that kind of influence? So it's like experience that kind of violence there, really and truly learn to them just adapt that kind of behavior, because what's going on the system. Once a feud is going on, remember Rima and Jungler are fighting for years, and it's a feud that's been going on, whether it is political or not. So it's just you grow and you see it and you live it. And unless you get taken out or remove yourself from that situation, it's a never-ending cycle. Or unless the government decides to change it.
Before I go into Leicester, what about the period of time whereby dancehall music was deemed to be downtown? Is it dancehall on reggae music, or was it dancehall music deemed to be downtown? That negative stereotype, and uptown was, even though we know enough uptown people were still engaged in downtown still at the same time, there was that stereotype.
It was
Jamaican music is downtown music.
Right, and at the time it was predominantly, because even reggae, people did have like same thing what Lester said. The reason they weren't playing Bob Marley music in this, a lot of people felt like that was the lower class. So them no want them people listen to no Rasta man, and them no want them people listen to Bugu Yaga music and them something there. So that was just a whole segregation thing where uptown people did feel like them better than Middletown and lower class people. So that was just a society thing.
So that was more like the highty-tighty culture then. Lester, you're saying something.
Silburn.
Yes.
And Shams. Okay. Let us for argument's sake agree that dancehall music influenced crime, right? Is it a separate dancehall music that the uptown people, Sean Paul, Dan Youth, Shams, and many other Alien, Tessan Chin, Tommy Chin, all these people listen to are the same dancehall music? Wayne Marshall is a middle class to upper class youth, and Wayne Marshall's first introduction to dance was Bounty Killer song when King Jammy's son Jam 2 bring it to him and say, yo, listen to the artist here. And it was Copper Shot. Remember me? This is one of the most violent lyrics. And Wayne Marshall never got what shoot nobody. This is an uptown never old pastures influenced and was enthralled by this music. Right? But I'm saying it's the same music where we are listening to downtown, they are listening to uptown. There's no difference. Japan France are huge consumers. The Netherlands, where I am, Germany, consume large volumes of dancehall music. But then the young people in these countries are not killing anybody. Why is it that a certain social economic background in Jamaica only kill people, and the uptown people will listen to the same music night after night after night, too, not doing the same thing?
Yeah. Let me just pick up what someone says there. We need jobs. Right? The government still can't see that the limited job plus 7K per week have a huge impact on crime and violence. That is where the crime and violence is coming from, isn't it? Not the music. Because going further, one of the comments when I was doing my research is that dancehall has been a musical movement from the depths of the lower socioeconomic class in Jamaica, enabling them to express themselves and tell their own stories. The majority of Jamaican live in the struggle from which dancehall was created. At the same time, it is interesting what I said right there, that it is the lower socioeconomic class enabling them to express themselves. But what is bringing in Jamaica resources and what is making Jamaica internationally known? Isn't it reggae music, dancehall?
Yeah, the music. Yeah. But okay, look at, I'm going to take one artist, right? Yeah. Arville Shaggy Burrell. Shaggy toured 19 people, including Sham's brother, Dubwise.
Yes.
Right? No, this is 19 families Shaggy alone a feed. Right? No, this is excluding.
Me not cut you before that thought.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know which part Shaggy come from.
What? I come in there.
All right. Yeah.
I come in there. Remember, so we don't run a big yard, you know? I come in there.
Yeah.
But so it's 19 people, excluding the managers in. Excluding the manager. I thought 19 active people in an entourage, right? Now, these persons, so it's 19 families that. So Shaggy one provide jobs and opportunities for 19 people plus. So let us say each person of a family of 4. So yes. It's a multiplication effect there, so right? Now imagine all of dancehall who goes on the road to tour, right? Beanie Man, Tioge has 4 members, plus Shams, plus the band. Much people in the band? 5 in the band? 3. So that is 7 persons, right? Plus road manager.
Yeah.
Right? 8 persons in one entity. Okay, 8 persons, right? Beanie Man traveling with something like 15 people or something like that. So I'm saying that we have to understand the dynamism of dancehall, what dancehall does, right? So dancehall actively provide jobs for people. If we had a system where the government was having a photocopy issue like that, right? Providing incentive, providing jobs for people, yes. Right? We wouldn't have this high crime rate because, all right, notice any community, any ghetto community that there's a construction site happening in that area, the violence drops.
Yes. And you're talking about now the success of Shaggy and where Shaggy is from.
And Shaggy come from Raytown.
Okay. And Bob Marley come from Trenchtown.
Yes.
And who come from Uptown?
Sean Paul and Shams.
Sean Paul.
I'm telling you, if you hear Sean's story, you know, Sean thing was not better.
I want to welcome Christoph Ton, which joined me on Instagram there, you know, I mean, maybe in the background there at the same time, you know. It's interesting though, guys, because there's always a perception, because even in the UK or so, you know, the first thing they want to do is shut down dances because it is linked to crime. Anytime there's any dance, lots of clubs before this pandemic or so, any club which starts up or having any dance sessions or whatever, there's now like a zero tolerance, because somehow, based on evidence, there's always a shoot up. Lots of times there. That's a reality. Anybody can say otherwise, but that is seen as a negative things toward dancehall. This has nothing to do with dance. I was sent a video also yesterday with some guys dancing with their guns, because there's no woman in the place there, you know, dancehall music and stuff like that. Now, am I right to make that association to say that there is an influence, or is it just by chance that they love the music?
I strongly believe that it's an adapted lifestyle now.
Yes.
It's a part of the culture, yes, but it's also an adapted lifestyle, because remember, you know, it would almost be like you grow up in a situation. You know, you're born, nobody, you never asked to be born or drop. So boom, you drop in a situation. By the time you age 2 or 3, you realize, okay, this is where I'm at. This is what is happening around me every day. Is either you're going to be a predator or you're going to be a prey, you know?
Yeah.
You understand what I say? If you fall in between this, so you get beat up every day or something. You understand? So it's either you're going to be assertive with your life, or you're going to make, you know, stuff happen to you. No, the man that choose to be assertive and stand up for themselves, it may not be, because again, listen, they have so much going against them, because see, Itana did a song about it, wrong address, and that is so true.
Yes.
If you born and grow up in a certain community, you know, you can't get certain job, you know, then that they're not gonna hire you. You understand? So a man feel like, so you know what, in order to feed my family, then when I'm of a certain age, in order to feed my family, I have to do certain things. So, and at the end of the day, you know, they are humans just like any one of us. So they enjoy music like anybody else. Don't do the uptown person, then probably not brandish a gun and not bust some shot to some bounty killer and some beanie man. You understand? But them are fire blanks. The only difference is in the inner city, a man might have him think upon him and can action. They bust 2 shots because them DJ have some bad song and them feel happy. That's just a way of showing celebration, because them also do this in the Middle East. At weddings, you ever see them video there? At weddings, everybody okay. And it's not no inner city or no ghetto, no violence thing. It's just a way of celebration. And they do it here in the United States. Same like Jamaica. Every 4th of July, people are bust them gun. Same way.
But isn't the question whether these are licensed firearms or not?
That's another story, but that now for the point. Whether it's legal or illegal, you have it and you're doing it, you know. And if that is part of the argument, then of course these individuals in the inner city are going to have illegal firearms, because they won't have access to legal firearms, and they are criminals. You understand what I say? So, but at the end of the day, they are still humans, they are still people, but they just chose a path that, you know, works for them, because it's either them a lot of them don't really have nothing to live for too. So them just say, oh, either I'm gonna end up in prison, or I'm gonna end up dead, or I'm gonna feed myself and my family. That's it.
So that brings us to what Dion is saying and what China Lee is saying, which is coming back, is the social construction of Jamaica that is indeed correct. Poverty plays an intricate part in the world structure. You just said it a while ago. It is because there's lack of things that they have to live for based on lack of economic prosperity moving forward. China Lee said, how the hell can you work 7K per week, 40 to 50 hours per work week? Some of these criminals, they won't even bother to go hunting jobs. Now, that is a construct there, which is fundamental, because are we saying then there's a pass for guns and all those sort of things to reign? Now, we have slightly shifted in a way as if to say we're linking dancehall with guns, because according to what you're saying, Shams, is that, you know, the man might fire black, might fire gunshot in the year because them not nothing to do. But it's the same thing, but the legal aspect is another factor. But what we're talking about here is the association. Am I going off track? I'm just throwing this out there.
No. I mean, no, you're asking a question, but okay. Shams never grew up in the ghetto. Me grew up in the ghetto, right?
Yeah.
And so let me give you an example of something. And even to Dr. Tufton, if he's still on, right? Now, let me give you an example of something. Your environment provides the social construct of your mind and your actions, right? Now, if you live in an area where you see zinc fence, in your yard, you see sewage, raw sewage or seep out day in, day out, right? You hear expletives coming from everywhere. You hear little kids your age cussing expletives. You see promiscuous behavior around you, right through. So you're bombarded with negatives, right? Now, if you have and if I'd be a hypocrite to say music, not just dance, but music on a whole influences. Because when Cartel sing Clarks, it raised the sale of Clarks around the world. You know what I mean? No, but it don't mean say because him sing violent lyrics mean it is a contributor. Because before Vibes Cartel was 2000, 2001, right? We had 1,500 murders and stuff like that in the 90s. He wasn't around.
Yes.
So, but what I'm saying is that your environment impact on you heavily.
Yes.
When you go to school, the guys who come from a particular rough area are usually the bully them at school. Right? The guy who come from the more upper echelons of school behave a bit more mature, then behave more respectful and calmer because them not have that rough environment they're coming out of.
Yes.
So when you have a people who are being oppressed, right? When you have a people who are being marginalized from opportunities, and then them see a way out say, oh, the police have gone, I'm have power. Them see the uptown man, the boss man, having big gun pan it. If something happen in our traffic, the boss man come out and back him gun, win back him gun pan, go so. So your environment that teach you something. This is not only the music, you know. The man in the community where you have to get respect. It's not the teacher, it's not the security guard, you know, it's not the supervisor at the factory, or the gunman them. This have nothing to do with the music. This is what you see. So you are gonna come up and you're gonna say, but wait, all the persons who must getting respect are these men who must with the soldier them. When soldier come in a ghetto, every bad boy run up and down. Right? So your introduction to gun and the power what gun have, right, is that create you know the man stuff to say, well, if I want to see him respect that, I gotta have a gun. And the bigger my gun is, the bigger respect me get.
I hear that, and I'm still going back to the influence because research have been showing whereby they talk about research has shown that there's a direct correlation between the loud hardcore music played for argument's sake on public transportation and the proliferation of sexual activities on these said transportations. I can't speak too loud, but you know there was a time when they had something days, you know what I mean, in the buses, and you know, and that is why after a while they stop having the tinting in the buses, and they start to regulate them very hard. Am I correct or am I not correct?
I think it might be a little bit unfair to even link violent activities and sexual behavior in this regard, because I was
it is studies which have been there, you know. But
yeah, I know that sometimes you have to be kind of wary of who conducts these studies and what their motive is at the end of the day.
True.
Because you know anybody can do a study if they want to prove something or sell something. Yes. So anyway, but you know, as it relates to that way you say, in reality, yes, sexual behavior is music can influence sexual behavior, because especially, you know, when they did have the slow type music and R&B and them kind of something there, you know, a lot of love making go on, and then even in Jamaica, the daggering segment come out and all of that.
Well, two friends I know had children during COVID lockdown.
Right. So in that respect,
the 12 months, 8 months,
there's a big difference between people getting the urge from hearing certain lyrics, that sexual urge or whatever, but because everybody has that, everybody have that kind of urge, you understand? But when they come on to violence, so and that's not across the board. You understand what I say? If I hear some certain songs, Lester hear certain songs, you hear certain songs, how much of us actually going to say, yeah, me feel like a bus too sharp now, because them, you know, them man they diss me, I'm gonna do this or do that. It goes back to what Lester said. You grow up in an environment and you see certain things and you can relate respect to having a big gun or the amount of body count a man have or whatever. Them man they get the respect. You understand? Similarly with I was going to mention movies. If they matter about that, look how many movies you ever see anybody come out of Caribbean State yet and say, yo, the movie the bad, we are gonna shoot up some people, are even better yet. You ever see when back then in the days when they used to have the kickers them every Saturday, they used to have Matty, how much people come out to them want to kung fu
when I
style.
see some videos with some guys doing kung fu for
In
YouTube.
Jamaica?
Yeah, some comedy stuff.
So the point is, you know, to directly say that the music. No, because they're not banning all these movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham. None of these people, none of these big actors' movies are being banned from Jamaica in the theaters or whatever. You know, and even on TV. So why censor the music? Again, in my mind is like some agenda is there. And going back to you mentioned earlier about shooting up the clubs and whatever that happened in the UK, that happened in Jamaica to a lesser extent maybe, and that happened in the United States also. But that has nothing, personally, I believe this has nothing to do with the music, because that's a simple thing, you know.
Yeah.
Party I keep, everybody wants to go to the party. Sadly, you're going to have turf war problems and people from 2 different sides or even 3 different sides going to the party. If a man say next man, them either go and wait till the party done for put it on upon him, or a man a walk through the party and bounce on next. Just dumbness usually happens, you know, when a man under him liquor or whatever and feel certain kind of way and feel like, yo, me dress good and this and that. You can't step on a man's shoes. It's just a respecting, as let's say a man feel like say, yo, if a boy diss me, I go show him say I'm me the man and me crew there and film crew there. So it I go just kick off.
So therefore, in breaking it down, then what I'm sensing then and what I'm picking up then is, it is not the music per se, but it is the association based on where the music is coming from, and based on the cultural, and based on the socio-economic area of where people are coming from, and by virtue of that association, as people are saying, the jobs are not there. Lester gave that depiction of what it is like growing up. I do recall being taken to a particular inner city area one time, and that was my first time. Actually, it was very strange. My second time, where we had to be driven in with a bike guy drive us in to show that we were okay and driving us out, and it was like a different world, you know. At the same time, you know, coming from Ochi, you know, you're scared of Kingston and things like that, you know. But the point about what I'm trying to say is, and what I'm picking up is that the music is not seen now as a dominant factor, but then I believe there's a lot of education that has taken it from where it was seen before. That's why I use the word myth and the word ideological factor, whereby education has changed that now with the people of like Miss Cooper, Carol Cooper or something like that.
Caroline Cooper, yeah.
Caroline Cooper from UA, and also there's another lady there which I interviewed once. Her name just slipped me. What's that?
Donna Hope?
Donna Hope, yes. Yeah, they're demything. They're demything they're debunking the myth, if anything about that. Yes.
But let me give you history, right? Yeah. Quickly.
Let me take my notes. I'm gonna take my pen and write down.
In the 80s and the 90s, especially in the 80s, you had more physical altercation happening inside the dance hall space.
Yes.
Right? Man with them 3-star rat chicken and buck knife and broke buckle. You had fights nightly at events, dancehall events in the dancehall space. The music at the time was not as violent as it is now, right? The proliferation and the access to handguns or guns was not as much then as it is now, right? So more people have guns, more people where low socioeconomic people have guns now. More guns are in society now than in the 80s and the 90s, right? Now, why is it that you have more access to guns now, more warring factions now, but yet still in the physical dancehall space, you hardly hear of a fight happening, and when I say fractions, dancehall people and dancehall people, whether dancers, selectors, DJ, managers, them have them personal war. And them convoluted in the same space. They travel on the same plane. They go on the same tour. And them don't have fights now. And them have more access to weapons now. But in the 80s and the 90s, nightly, I witness it. Nightly. They used to broke back and fight. But I'll tell you something. There's a club called Limelight in Harvey Tree. One night, me and 1/3 is there, the group I used to manage. And we're stand up talking to two of my police bridging them. Bounty Killer, it was Expression Thursdays. Dance Harvey Expression, I keep him nightly, weekly event. The whole alliance there, Bounty Killer, whole crew was there. Cartel had been excommunicated from alliance at the time, so him have Gaza.
Yes.
Vibes Cartel show up there. Remember, this is an alliance sponsored event. Gaza is not welcome there. Vibes Cartel came with the power of the whole Gaza and up a big yard up a Maniswood Road. Walk through the event. Bounty Killer was standing to the side with his guys talking. You know what Cartel did? Cartel veered off and go and push Bounty Killer out of the way. Physically push him out of the way. Just for say, me are the man. Yet still, no violence occurred in terms of, and Cartel man them have gun, Killer man them have gun. But nobody shoot at each other. Movado came in after that. And they were telling Movado, the whole cassava piece was it Movado. Everybody have gun. Nobody shoot each other. If that had happened in Josie Whale them time, if that had happened in the 70s with Bob Marley and Peter Touch them, you could never dare push Peter Touch.
Yes.
Who know Peter Touch? You cannot push Peter Touch. So I'm saying, why is it that these guys, Cartel singing violent lyrics, Bounty Killer warlord, but yet still a thumb wasn't thrown, a knife never stabbed nobody, gun never fire, and they had access to it there. So when we're saying that, and if you look on, there's approximately 4 or 5 dancehall artists currently incarcerated, right? And I think maybe 3 of them are on gun charges. We have hundreds of dancehall artists. Why is it more, if the music are produce violence and influence violence, why more dancehall practitioners are not incarcerated for guns or these violent actions?
And these 4 are being, Ninja Man, Vibes Cartel?
No, Vibes Cartel is not incarcerated for gun.
Okay.
I'm talking about gun here.
Yes.
Vibes Cartel is not incarcerated for gun. Vibes Cartel Sean Storm is for murder.
Okay.
The weapon of choice was not gun. But we have Laden for gun. We have Ritical. And we have Ninja Man.
Yeah.
And Tamale have a charge. So.
And Tamale. So 4 members are currently incarcerated for guns. Out of the hundreds of dancehall people.
So what we are saying then is, and what we have done today is debunking the myth, debunking the whole perception which is out there. And do you think then it's a worthwhile debate that needs to continue, or is it that we are digging up something which is already covered and dusted, or is it still out there? Are government ministers, are people actually linking it still, Lester and Richard Shams?
Well, based on the fact that it's a question today, yes, people are still linking the two, because you have people that aren't even a part of dancehall and reggae or music in general that have their opinion, especially those uptown people that disassociate themselves from even Jamaican culture. You know, them and them kids, them stay uptown and them do them thing, and them not really interested. They prefer their calypso music, and when carnival come on, them do them thing, and they do, and this is stemming from back then, from the 70s, 80s, when they don't want to associate or anything to do with anything that, you know, is unlike what they would want for themselves or their family. And to them, they look down on dancehall or look down on reggae music.
Yeah,
you know, so that's just a section of society that's been happening. I don't want. It's just a prejudice that's been happening over the years, and it's not gonna change.
But Silver, it's a cop out in a Silver. It's a lazy cop out,
yes.
Right? And government and the upper echelons. And when we say government, I'm not targeting JLP or PMP. I'm talking the government. You know, yes. and churches and civil society. It's a cop out, right? Because when we look at the facts. Are we, the society, really looking after the most vulnerable, right? Is our state agencies working on our behalf at the best of their abilities to make sure that the most vulnerable, the people in the lower socio-economic have access to the simple amenities of life. People who live in a Kingston still have running water.
Yes.
2020, during the last election, MP Rhoda Crawford, and I was a part of her campaign team. We saw.
She was a guest on my show, actually, thanks to you as much. Well,
okay. Yeah. We saw how many persons in central Manchester did not have water in their homes. She gave away supplied hundreds of drums. This is Manchester, the richest parish in Jamaica, right? And persons never have, 2020 running water. So when people live in deplorable conditions, their attitude is going to be deplorable. The music now have nothing to do with it.
Right. So it's a whole society factor there. There's one thing which I want to sort of wrap up now, whereby the positives of dancehall music and something which I've seen, which have been seen in Jamaica society, are it acts. It's what they're saying, and this is what we can look at now. It acts as a relief of stress for the people suffering because of poverty and helps them in a way to feel free. It's a medium for economic advancement, which I'll agree. It helps people to see what is actually happening in inner city communities. Wouldn't you agree with that section that says it's a medium for economic advancement as well? Medium for economic advancement, dancehall music. It takes a lot of people out. Sorry, go on, Shams. Yeah.
100%. I can give you one of the most recent examples is Mackerel. You understand? Mackerel, nobody really never know her until she's a huge social media influencer now, and it's dancehall cause that. You understand? And it's not even mention the artist. It's not even an artist, and it's dancehall boss Mackerel.
Yes.
You want to talk about artists? There are too many artists to mention, and dancers. Don't you remember dancers? Cruz and all of them sitting there.
But Shams, can we take out the dancehall practitioners out of the question, out of the argument for now? Move away from managers and everybody.
Yes.
Let us look at the peanut man.
Peanut man, the weed man.
Let us look at the weed man. Let us look at the dressmakers.
Yes.
Let us look at the electrician, the technicians. Let us look at the gas stations when the gas stations open later at night because party over late and people go on gas and food buy and credit to buy. Let us look at the jelly man, right? But let us look at the chicken man and the pork man. That means that CB and Best Dress is affected positively from dancehall. CB during the pandemic, Ray Neville and Caribbean Boilers profit went down by double digits just because dance not keep, right? And they saw the effect of dancehall, how nightly these places buy alcohol and food, right? So when a lot of time people are saying, lock up the dance, lock them up, they don't understand it's a huge sector of society that is going to have a huge fallout. I mean not poor people, I'm talking about the regular society having a huge economic fallout. But let us look at the stress relief.
Yes, that's what I wanted to. Yes.
Lie down on them bed. Them know the dance, Them lie down on them bed and them listen to some music, and it calm them down. You understand me? It calm them down so much, and them fall asleep. And them look forward many times to people who even go to dance, and them look forward to the colorful nature of the dancers, them are the artists, them and the characters in dancer.
Yes.
Right? And them go there and them stand up one side, and the joy them feel and the stress relief that they get from these colorful characters in dancehall. And it make them go on back now and have a sense of renewed spirit, a sense of relief. People get ideas, creative ideas. So I'm standing up in a dancehall session, and them create something. Networking. A lot of people meet people in a dancehall. Me meet Shams because of dancehall. You understand me? Right? So people earn a lot of money from dancehall, and them earn, them get, stress relief. But last point.
Yes.
Bro God. That term they come from dancehall. The Prime Minister.
Okay, I was going to tell ladies and gentlemen, Bro God is the Prime Minister of Jamaica.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica is affectionately called Bro God.
What's the heritage? What's the lineage? Where did it come from? Bro God.
Okay, there's a dancehall group from Montego Bay, Salt Spring, called the Six.
Yes.
Right? Daddy One, Squash, Bobby Six, and what the fuck one name, Shams?
I'm gonna say fatty. Somebody might slap me.
So Daddy One, his slang is bro God, but Daddy One got that slang from the streets, from the corner, from in a Salt Spring, right? Yeah. So a bro God like me and Shams are bridging, right? And Shams a little bit older than I. You're a little bit older than I. So affection. So if you're good to me, would be my bro God then. So you would be like a God brother then, you know, a godfather. So instead of say Godfather, it's a bro God. So it's an affectionate name given to somebody who you look upon in high esteem, somebody who you're close to, like a general. It's not seem like a Dan, but more like somebody of high influence to you in a positive way. Yes. So the Prime Minister was in a Fontana pharmacy opening. Some school kids see him and them say, bro gotta come, because this is the Prime Minister and this is what they attribute to him. You know, Andrew, a success story, come from Spanish Town and him ascend to Prime Minister position. So these are what the young people are calling him. He took on the moniker, right? And which is dancehall related. Next thing, government badness, right? It's a song, government badness, meaning that the state of control over things and the state of, you know, take care of things and whatever. And Andrew, not Andrew, but we use that in the Jamaica Labour Party for push onto the PMP as a slang also that we are coming into it. Clerks! Andrew wear clerks. The whole GLP fraternity wear clerks. Till the PMP started to wear clerks too. All of this is dancehall related. Clerks was made popular by Vibe Cartel.
So dancehall has been a major positive influence in Jamaica. We can confidently say that, isn't it, Shams?
He's the biggest earner.
Yes.
And just I don't necessarily like to segregate just a music in general, because just the Jamaican music, the Jamaican culture,
yes,
is responsible for a lot of the income, a lot of the earnings, and just, you know, the culture. I mean, we're little about to tell
Well, I wrap up now and just put this question out there, and people can come back to if people can list what are some of the positives of the music of Jamaica, which incorporate reggae, dancehall, meritone, you know, whatever other music, you know. Tell us what you see as the positives, and also of dancehall music based on the topic here. I will not say the negative. Someone just said this, and I'll just, does this have any relevance here? I'll just put it out there because he's a contributor. Dancehall and children twerking is a thing, though. It seems there's a correlation between Jamaican born music and certain dance moves, hence the babies being made in lockdown. Anyone want to comment on that? I mean, with respect, yeah.
Children twerking, that's bad parenting, because you have parents that allow them kids. Firstly, if you're not supposed to allow your kids to watch certain movies, PG-13 movies or something, them shouldn't be listening to certain music. But the parents are not parenting. Them still give them tablet and whatever, and them can watch what they want to watch on YouTube or listen whatever they want to listen to. So that is a parenting issue. Because adult stuff is for adults, so keep it from the kids. Simple.
So let's that link to what you are talking about. Cop out. It's a cop out.
It's a cop out. But if you look at the ancestral side of it, right? As African people, we move to the rhythm, right? It happens in Australia too. It happens with in Austria. It happens we have black people. Right, we move to rhythms and stuff like that. So when you look at other countries, America, other countries, you have little kids always dancing, right? But it's how the dancing take place. So if the little kids them say the bigger people them are whining and grind on each other. Yes. If you have the bigger people them are push boy and girl together and say wine pan man, dagger man, dagger.
Yeah, I've seen those videos. Yes.
So that does nothing to do with the music. That, as a Sham said, that's parenting.
And in addition, I've seen videos on Instagram where either big sister or mommy are twerking in front of the camera for Instagram, and the little child is there seeing, so waiting that kid that will grow come do. Same thing.
Well, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think that wraps it really to say that a lot of the influence is from actually the parents and the family, and also from the socio-economical factor. The music is deemed to be somewhat like a cop-out, whereby the responsibility which is rests on governments, unless my saying is always, if you vote out the government, you get the government in. So whether it's JLP or PNP, they still have the government. I always say this all the while. You vote out the government, you get the government, and government plays a fundamental role. I recall working in Jamaica when I was with Highgate Foods, Candyman, 63 Africhi Road. I used to drive down to downtown, not drive, take taxi to T. Geddes Grand, Facey community to get the check for Claude Clark. That was Claude Clark, who is actually Nigel Clark, uncle. Nigel Clark, my virgin, at that time he was young. And I always see these zinc fences all the while. And this was 1987, 88, 88, 89, because I came to the UK 1990, 1992. And I always ask myself the question, why are these zinc fences there? And I used to have all these political discussions all the while in the office. Why are these zinc fences there at all this time? And I think you can answer the question now. Are those zinc fences still there?
Yes, it's by design. But Silver, could you allow me just 2 minutes, please?
Yes.
Right? I can't leave this platform as a manager of artists, as a lover of the music. Andrew Holness, persons who know me know my lineage to Andrew. But I was disappointed in his comment at the opening ceremony of the Stock Exchange regarding the violent lyrics in a dancehall, right?
Okay.
And
which prompted us to have this discussion today.
Yes.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that as a leader, if you are not, from a policy standpoint, contributing to the music, contributing to the development of the music, if you're not putting in a framework where the music can be a regularized industry, right? Where you can say, okay, you can pinpoint aspects of the music, you can pinpoint the income revenue, you can pinpoint areas in which you can twin craft and music and certain things, right? For instance, quickly, most of 75% of the music being played in Jamaica is not of Jamaican origin. In France, 70 or 80% of the music played in France has to be French music. Even for reggae, it's French reggae, right? From French artists. So we are paying out from Jamaica, publishing to foreign artists, right? In the tune of billions of dollars annually. But yet still, our music is not being played locally, so that our local artists and creative persons are not being paid locally, because more of our music, less of our music is playing and more of foreign music is playing. If we have a framework from the government, and I'm not targeting JLP here, I'm saying the government of Jamaica, where streaming services have a platform in Jamaica. Because of our policies, streaming services cannot operate in Jamaica, because the music in Jamaica, a lot of people don't know this. Shams can tell you, the music is not seen as a career. Under the constitution, in the laws, music is not seen as a career. A footballer is not seen as a career. A man who do painting, artwork, is not seen as a career, it's seen as a hobby. So there are certain things that policy-wise don't hold it up. So if we change certain policies, if we introduce certain policies, and it will now create framework for business people like a Gary Matalan, like and Michael Leachin and other business people who can then invest in a framework, and you can see the returns. That's what happened in the United States and Australia and England, where businessmen who don't know nothing about music can invest in a music product and can develop the artist, develop the art form, and make it a bigger art form. Hip hop contributed $3 billion annually to the US economy, right? So because of the framework set there, so we can have a government, our government officials, bashing a music that they have no policy framework to help uplift.
And okay, that's good. And wrapping up now, Shams, what's your last word on this topic?
On this topic, I mean, I don't even know when these people are going to stop blaming music for what's going on, because as Lester said, it's bigger than the music, you know. It's bigger than the music, and to Lester's point just now, if there's no framework set in place, because, you know, as a member of Jams and JCAP, I can say it really don't make any sense for us as musicians, as creatives in Jamaica, not to be collecting the bulk of our money within our own country. It don't make any sense.
Yes.
75%, 70% of the music cannot be on air, should not be foreign music. So with them need to do something about that, you know.
Okay, so therefore debunking the myth. Well, I believe tonight was debunking the myth. Lester, any last word before I just sum up?
We need to support our local industries.
Yes.
We need to support our local creative persons.
Yes.
Not just entertainers, but just local creative persons.
Yes.
Right? So and if you take the music, for instance, if you have a policy where 70% of the music in Jamaica has to be local music, you have far more positive people than will start creating music. So far more positive music will be played.
Yes.
It seems because there's a lot of positive music being made, but they're not getting the attention of the airwaves. So if we have a mandatory thing, we have more positive. But we need to support our local industries.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
And do you think that the airwaves is supporting the positive musics?
No.
The positive aspect?
No. I worked at VP Records in 2003, and Vibes Cartel came there, I interviewed him, and that's how I met him. And he gave me a CD with 20 songs. Yes. And he said he's going to RGR now. He's going to give the disc jockeys these 20 songs. The first 10 songs were cultural uplifting songs. 5 of them were black conscious songs. The other 10 were lewd, gun songs, slack songs, sex songs. And then they didn't play one of the 10 songs. The first 10 songs, you know, they didn't play not even one.
Yes, yes.
So you can't blame the artist. You have to look at the framework.
Okay, well, thanks for that. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on, those on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And thank you so much to Richard Shams and Lester. The last comments which came up is from Coach Martin Gooden. Culture artists think bigger and wider than the local art. This is why culture artists are touring outside of Jamaica a lot more. That's a comment right there. Jan Gilo said music is a mission, not a compassion, and music is a mission, not a compassion. Okay. Now
it's a lyric from Capleton. Music is a mission, not a competition. It's a lyric from Capleton.
Okay. Thanks for the education. I'm always good to learn. I'm making my notes at the same time. And I want to thank so much for Richard Shams for coming on. Call me Shams. TOK, former manager of TOK and Hit Rhythms, Baddest Orgasm, and Lester, artist, manager, record producer, work with Tanya Stevens. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe what I've picked up from this is, you know, there is the positives and there's a perception. The negatives, the influence of dancehall music, as they say, on teenagers, impact their mind negatively, as was said, contribute heavily to crime and violence. But what we have seen here, it is not just the music or the music per se, but it is the influence of the communities around, influence of the socio-economic section, that just because people gather together to listen to music and things happen based on the socio-economic factor of the area, you cannot just blame the music, because music at the same time, dancehall music is a relief of stress, which we agree on. The music frees your mind. Music actually does free your mind. People suffering because of poverty helps them in a way to feel free. A medium of economic advancement. We are seeing that it is an economic advancement. We are seeing dancehall taken to a high level. You got the likes of Spice, you got the likes of Shensi, and everybody's out there doing their own thing. Sean Paul, Shaggy, and as Shams earlier said, let's not just say dancehall music, but let us say music. And that is the key thing. Am I correct, Sham? Yes?
Yeah, Jamaican music, yeah.
Jamaican music. Now, thank you for coming on. Now, next week, as a matter of fact, coincidentally, ladies and gentlemen, I may be having on the show, funnily, Sean Paul, based on what I'm understanding, yes, this is Steve Urchin Wilson, journeyman of the entertainment industry, having informally worked as studio manager, artist manager of nightclub promotion, record executive. He has spent the last 18 years touring the world with Grammy Award winning reggae ambassador. He has a book which is out there, and hoping to have an interview with him next week Sunday in my linking with Jamaica on a Sunday evening. So do tune in for that. I'll confirm further. I'm just doing this because we haven't got the title confirmation, but that is something possible to happen as well. Gentlemen, off the round table, guys, link your Shams. There is his contact details there. And as for Lester, just say Gaza, and he'll come to you on it. Am I correct, Lester?
Just type in Lester Gayle on any platform and I'll pop up.
All right. So guys, thank you so much for coming on. It was a pleasure and it's an honor.
Yes.
And just stay right there. Don't leave here. Just 1 second. Okay. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for joining me tonight on this interesting show and topic which I will always bring on. These are uncomfortable topics at times, but I believe it's important that we discuss them, and feel free to share some of the discussions and as well to talk about Jamaica, land we love. And of course, as you can see, I have on my Jamaican badge, my Jamaican logo, and big up Jamaica, Reggae Month. I'm hoping to somehow get someone from the official, ministry or whatever to talk about Reggae Month next week or sometime. But nevertheless, still, if you don't get them, we get the people. We get the people we're at. Have a good night.